as we're doing this. It will clarify a lot of things. What you guys did last night is have the foundation, build the foundation for what we're doing today and on Monday. It's pretty much all you need to know, but you have to know it well. You can't be kind of second guessing as we go along. So, for instance, we know that we need to get to this point. This is like the center when you have only the absolute value. And oh, thank you. And this is like the distance. There we go. And so we got the center on the left, and we have the distance on the right. Okay. So that's concept number one we have to understand, so that if we happen to have absolute value, make sure you make these a little bit darker so you know those are absolute value, not ones. If we happen to have it equal to a negative, we know that that means there's no solution. Now, be able to explain in words why that is the case. I don't want you memorizing simply that, oh, if negative is on the right, then no solution, because that will get you in trouble. Likewise, if we have it equal to 0, there's going to be one solution. But what is that solution? Okay. So if I say like x minus 2 is equal to 0, this is like saying start at positive 2, but don't go anywhere. Go 0 distance. Okay. That's why there's only one answer. It's because we started at positive 2, but we didn't go anywhere. So that's why we have one answer only. So be able to explain that in words. Okay. And then the most common answer is when we have a positive, and then we know we have some middle somewhere, and then we have an answer to the right and another answer to the left. Okay. So our goal is to get to absolute value equal to a distance, so center equal to a distance, and then break it up. One of them is positive, one of them is negative. Notice how the center value does not change. We're not doing positive 6 or anything. It's just that one's to the right, one's to the left, so one's positive 24, one's negative 24. Okay, this is key. Notice how we did not divide by negative 6 here inside the absolute value. You'll never be doing any operations within the absolute value. We have some that have fractions, and we don't. Please do not tell yourself that, well, it's harder because there's a fraction. Okay. So what divided by 3 equals 1? 3. So you know the answer. It's not difficult. Now, if you need to write the answer down and then go back and show the work, how do I get from 1 to 3? Oh, I got to times 3 on both sides, and so on. That's fine. But I don't want anybody leaving this blank because they're saying, yeah, that one algebra problem, high school algebra problem with a 5th grade math in it, that's too hard for me. Don't tell yourself that, and you'll be able to do it. Okay? Right. Right. Then, stay with me. Then, we had some values that were on the outside, and what you did not want to do is this. Well, these are all the same. Absolute value means nothing. Let me just get 7. Don't do that. There's a reason why there's a number on the inside. This is still the center. If you just add these together, you're changing the center of the whole graph, which is a different problem. So what you want to do is just undo anything that's not inside the absolute value. And then once you get to this point, that's when you can break it up and do the normal routine. Fractions are division. A division that we can undo by multiplying. break it up. -9 and +9. Some prefer to do the negative on the left, the positive on the right. It doesn't really matter. Go ahead and solve. Nice thing about writing everything side by side is that the algebra will all line up. We have 4 times what is -6, and 4 times what is 12. Divide. So we have b equals -3/2, just reduce it, and b equals 3. And we had to graph that.
Do you have to graph this?
The directions say so. Our graph would look like this. You can just put 2 dots, and then the smaller number on the left, the bigger number on the right. Now, I went through all this just to show you what is different today. Look at this closely. Only thing different today is instead of equals, it's going to be greater than. Got it? So this will be greater than. This will be less than, because I switched the sign with a negative. Negative switches the sign. This will still be greater than. Greater than. Greater than. Less than. Less than. So my graph will be greater than 3, and then less than or equal to -3/2. So you can see the groundwork has already been done. We already know how to cancel out anything on the outside. We know how to break it up into 2 parts. We know how to solve those 2 parts. We know how to graph those 2 parts. Only thing we're adding in is this inequalities. And yes, you have to switch the inequality sign here also with the negative. The one that we normally do the negative on, we'll also have to switch the inequality sign. But after that, everything else is identical. Okay? And our final answer, we're just going to put the word "or" in between them, and that's going to be our final solution set. So on tonight's homework, let me show you that real fast. Go down to here, answers. It's just going to be the graphs and the 2 inequalities, and you can see the word "or." That's required. That's not optional. You have to do that. Okay, so you can go down and see, and you can see here that there are numbers on the outside, so you're going to have to do some work before you split them up. All the same stuff we've been doing. It's just there's an inequality. Okay? So let's just practice a few. And then on just line paper on your notes, make sure we got it down. I'm making it sound super simplistic. There are some little places where we can make mistakes easily, so let's look at those and then get you guys started pretty quick on the homework and maybe finish most of this in class. Okay? Let's do like 2 or 3 though, and right now. So here in general is what you're actually solving if you want some sort of real life connotation. So if she has to live more than 3 houses away, she couldn't live here, couldn't live here, couldn't live here, but starting here and any of these, and then couldn't live here, not here, but starting here and any of these. So it's just being a certain distance away. Or if when you move out, you want to say I want to live or move away at least 5 miles from Upland. So you have to drive down the 10 freeway 5 miles, and then starting there and anything further away, that's where you'd want to live. But you can also go east, you can go north, you can go south, as long as it's 5 miles away in any direction. So just understand that's what you're looking at. We're only doing like east and west here. Like imagine this is 10 freeway or something. So 5 miles down the 10 freeway, you would be in like San Dimas or Cal Poly Pomona. So anywhere there, west of the 57, or you can go, 5 miles east to the 50. All right. So get to. Okay. So here is the set of rules listed or steps listed in order. Just notice the only thing really new today is right here. You have to flip the sign. Before we just had one positive, one negative. Now, same thing, one positive, one negative. Flip the inequality sign on the negative one. Okay, so here we go. It's already absolute value. We don't have to cross off or cancel anything. We don't have to clear anything. So that's done. What do I got? What should I write? What's the first inequality?
2x plus 8 is greater than or equal to 6.
Okay. And
2x plus 8 is less than or equal to 6.
okay. So right here, that's what this is right here. First one stays the same. Second one changes. That's a very common mistake. Okay. From here, as you guys know, do the same thing both sides. 2x less than or equal to and greater than or equal to -2.
Wait, wouldn't you switch that because the negative? No.
Only, yeah, very good. Only divide by negative. Children. And there you go.
Oh, except for or. I forgot or.
Of these two, which one's smaller?
-7.
So -7 and -1. Open or closed?
All close.
Okay. Now, one thing we've gone through here, we did this, we solved it, and we graphed it. Now the check is a little tricky, and you'll notice when you get the worksheet, it doesn't say to check on there. But check with inequalities is kind of tricky. If it has an equal to, you can use these two numbers in the check. But if you get an answer that says, x is greater than 0, you can't use 0 in the check because 0 is not an answer. This says any number bigger than 0 is an answer, but 0 itself is not. So it's weird because in this case, you have to use a different number other than what you actually solved for. You'd have to just pick anything bigger than 0 for your check. 5, 10, 1, 0.0001. Okay? Because what will happen is that if I, let's say this was just a regular greater than, and I plugged in a point, I'd get like 6 is greater than 6 in my check, which is false. 6 is not bigger than 6. But if I use something that's like 1, then I'd get like 7 is greater than 6, and it would work. So that's something kind of different with inequality checks. You have to be careful if it's an equal to or if it's just a less than or a greater than. Let's see here. Let's just do one more. You guys try this quietly on your own. Make sure you can do it by yourself. So remember, starting here, you start seeing the numbers on the outside. The first step was to clear them. So you're not going to be doing greater than 15 and less than negative 15. You have to clear this first. And then after you clear it, right, you'll have absolute value of A is greater than or equal to 7, and now you break those up, greater than 7 for one of them, and less than or equal to negative 7 for the other. So anything on the outside, you have to clear it first, and then, because you still have the absolute value, that's why we're not going positive 15, negative 15. So then everything will fit. Okay. The number line should be a hint. If your answers are not on this number line, something's up. But you have to get used to it, so by the time you get back here, you still have to graph it and draw your own number line. You can't rely on the number line to let you know if you're getting the right two numbers. So just be ready for that. Anything on the outside, like on number 21, you have to clear, you have to do all this work before you even split it up. Don't want to go there. Don't want to go there. Easier just to get rid of it. Yeah, make some numbers big.
Still work.
You'll get the same thing.